Hey man, so today we're gonna be talking about some UFC hot takes. You know what I'm saying? But just letting you know, being honest up front, I am indeed a UFC rider. So these are just tests to see how y'all feel about him. I'm just letting y'all know ahead of time. Maybe someone becomes champion that you wouldn't expect. You know what I'm saying? Nah, but for real, these are my UFC hot takes. This is how I feel about these certain situations. Some of them some of them are hot, some of them are cold. You just have to wait and see. But hey, we're gonna get started. We're gonna get started first with the least spicy one. We're gonna go from least spicy to the hottest. You know what I'm saying? So okay, let's just get started. So first, Alex Pereira is already higher on the GOAT ladder than Israel Adesanya. I feel like this one's not that hot of a take. I feel like some people may agree, and let's get started. He beat Izzy inside the UFC. No, he's one of the few fighters one of the four fighters that has beat Izzy inside the UFC, and he was the first fighter to beat him at middleweight. He defeated him when he was on his long championship reign. I think it's the second longest besides Anderson Silva, and yeah, that he's already beat Izzy once. Izzy got his get back, and that's fair. They're 1-1 inside the UFC. Even if you look outside the UFC, Aspinall has 2 wins over him, but we're just talking purely inside the UFC, and they're tied inside the UFC. Who knows? Maybe we'll get a trilogy. I believe that if we do, Alex defeats current day Izzy pretty easily. But hey, let's continue. He's defeated more total champions. Jan Blachowicz, Israel Adesanya, like how we already talked about, Sean Strickland, who wasn't champion at the time but became champion later on when he defeated Israel Adesanya, um, Jamal Hill, Yuri Prohashka. That's already 5 defeated champions. That's a stacked resume. More than half of his wins are former champions. More than half of his fights are former champions, and he's winning more often than not. He's only lost once against those guys. It's just a crazy resume. It really is. He just has a crazy resume. And Izzy also has a crazy resume, but I don't think it's as stacked as Alex Pereira's when you take a look at it. But he's still fighting. He's still at the top of his game. He's ranked pound for pound number 2 right now. He still has a long way to go. Well, Israel Adesanya is already kind of on the decline. But hey, let's continue. If I haven't told you now, have I? Have I here? He's a double champ. He's done what Israel Adesanya has not been able to. Israel Adesanya went up, fought Jan Blachowicz, defeated pretty easily. He was taken down pretty easily, and like I said, was defeated. He never became double champ. Very few people inside the UFC have become double champ. It's either like 8 or 9 people. And Alex Pereira is one of the very few who have done it. Not only that, I didn't put this on the list, but he has real potential out of anyone inside the UFC to become the first triple champ. Right, moving up to heavyweight. Granted, I believe he would lose to Tom Aspinall, but anyways, uh, he has a really good chance to do that. I feel like out of everyone, he has the best chance in the UFC to become a triple champ, but he's already a double champ. That's very high praise. That's a very high achievement that you have to achieve. Be the best of the best in 2 divisions. That's just crazy. And at least we did this. He's on a generational run. He's already fought 3 times this year, and it's only September. Or he's about to fight 3 times this year, and it's only September. By the time he fights, it'll be October 5th, and it'll be the beginning of October. I wouldn't be surprised if he books another fight in like November or December, right? He's just on a crazy generational run. He's by far the second most popular UFC fighter that we've seen since Conor McGregor. You know, he may even be as big, if not bigger, than John Jones was. No, that's crazy. It's close though. It's close. Whenever you put in a hindsight, it's close, but it sounds crazy. But yeah, this is why I believe Aspera. Let me know if you agree. Let me know if you agree with any of these down below, and make sure to hit the subscribe button while you're there. You don't want to miss out. Next, Dricus Duplessis, top 3 middleweight of all time. Now, hear me out. Hear me out. Let's hear me out. Hasn't lost inside the UFC. Fact. Say what you want, but this is a fact. Right? Next. beat the second greatest middleweight of all time. Some people could even consider him the greatest. I don't. I personally don't. I still have Anderson Silva as the greatest. But he defeated Israel Adesanya by submission. No one inside the UFC has done that, right? And Dricus has done that. It was 2-2. Go inside the fourth round. Takes him down. Pins him up against the fence. Takes him down. Submits him. He made it look pretty easy. And no one has done that to Israel Adesanya. As simple as that. And that's a great title defense right there. That really is. That's a great title defense on your resume. Very few people have been able to do that. Only Strickland, Jan Blachowicz, and Alex Pereira have been able to do that. And now Dricus du Plessis. Right? And now, if we continue, I believe he would beat Sean Strickland and the winner of Whitaker versus Chimaev. First of all, he's already beat Robert Whitaker. A lot of people want to see that. I don't see it going another way. I believe that will be a very similar fight to the first one. He won the first round against Whitaker whenever he was on top, pounding on him, making him all bloodied at the end of round 1, and then knocks him out in round 2. I believe it would be more competitive, but I would still go Dricus pretty easily. Chimaev, first of all, motherfucker needs to eat Flintstone gummies to be healthy enough to get out there, bruh. We don't even know if he's going to be able to fight Robert Whitaker. We have to see it to believe it. Not only that, but his gas tank is so poor. It really is. I don't understand how someone can train so hard and for so long and only have a round and a half in him, bro. So I believe if Dricus survives his autism onslaught, he would easily beat Khamzat Chimaev. I really do believe that, and I believe he would do it going into third, fourth. If it even goes to a fifth, by then Khamzat Chimaev will be breathing like a fucking bulldog that's been on outside the whole day. It'll just be rough. He'll be rough. He'll be the first one to get KO'd by cardio in a title fight, bruh. And then Sean Strickland, controversial win for the title. Yes, Sean Strickland's up next. We all know that. However, I also believe that Dricus did win that fight. I'm in the minority that believe Dricus won that fight. It was a close fight. But I believe the second one will be more definitive. I don't believe anyone will be finished, but I feel like it would be more definitive. Dricus du Plessis this time would mix in the takedowns. I could even see him submitting Sean Strickland as well. We'll just have to wait and see. But I believe the second one will be more definitive. He already has a win over him. He already has a win over two of these three guys, right? And if you put that in perspective, that's a resume of Israel Adesanya, Sean Strickland, and Robert Whitaker beats Chimaev. Robert Whitaker. That's 3 champs right there already in this early title defense. And I don't see anyone else coming up. Maybe Kyle Barrio could make a pretty decent competition, pretty decent fight against him. I believe that one will be a good fight. I feel like that one will be a close fight. But outside of that, I don't really see anyone coming close to Dricus. And it leads me to this next. There's not much competition outside of Izzy and Silva. Anderson Silva. Who's the third greatest middleweight of all time? Luke Rockhold? Chris Weidman? Don't get me wrong, they're great fighters. But outside of Chris Weidman's KO over Anderson Silva and the horrible leg break of Anderson Silva in the second fight, who else can you say is as great as a win as Robert Whitaker and Israel Adesanya? Even a Sean Strickland, right? It's hard to go against that resume, especially with your first 3 title defenses, and you can continue garnering more title defenses going on after this onslaught of champs and Chimaev. I believe, yeah, Dricus actually, I really do believe Dricus actually has the best shot at becoming a top 3 middleweight, maybe even top 2. We just have to wait and see. Let me know what you think. Next, Tony Ferguson. This hurts me. I like Tony, but I believe he was never really that good. He was never championship level. I said it. Crucify me. I said it. And let's get into why. His best wins are RDA or Anthony Pettis. That doesn't really like scream to you championship level. They're gatekeepers inside the UFC. Anthony Pettis won an interim belt. I'll give him that. That was a good win. He beat Kevin Lee for the interim belt. That's not really like a great win for it either. If you look back at it, he was on this long winning streak. RDA and Anthony Pettis, I believe, are his best wins inside that winning streak. But there's not really much to say. Like, it's not like a win like a Gaethje. It's not a win like a McGregor. It's not a win like a Oliveira. And we see beat Kevin Lee for the interim belt. His first interim defense, which is crazy. I don't get interim defenses. Just, you have to face the champ, John Jones. Losing streak started when he faced championship caliber fighters, right? He lost when he faced Justin Gaethje. People point that as the turning point in his career. I just believe after that he was fighting championship fighters, and I don't believe he was just at that caliber. He had a crazy chin, crazy cardio, but he was never really great at one thing. He was just good at all of it, but good's not going to be enough to win you a championship. I don't believe he would beat Khabib as much as I want him to have been the person to beat Khabib. I don't believe he was that person. He lost to Gaethje, lost to Oliveira, lost to Dariush, lost to Chandler. I believe Chandler's really the point to where that KO was where he couldn't have come back. I believe that KO, because a lot of people point to the Gaethje fight. No, he was still winning some rounds against some of those guys I've just named. I believe it was the Michael Chandler flatline KO that really changed his career. And like I said, all these happened to championship level fighters, right? And then, oh, not supposed to see that. But yeah, people are going to remember him for this losing streak. And I don't believe that's fair. I'm not saying he was a bad fighter. I believe he was a great fighter. I just don't think he was on the level to be able to face a Khabib, a Gaethje, an Oliveira. And we even saw not even a Dariush. It's tough. It really is. It's tough to see a fan favorite guy like this, but I just hate to say it. He was just never on that level. I know people are just gonna. I know this one's gonna probably piss people off the most, and it's sad. It's sad to say, and it's sad to see. But now let's talk about another fan favorite. Fan favorite to fan favorite. You already saw Kevin Holland. I believe he will get a title shot within the next 3 years. Now, before you click off, let me explain the reasons why. If he goes on a nice little streak, he's known to be taking short notice fights, right? Let's say he gets on he's already on a 1-fight streak. Say he stacks up 2-3 fights in a row, right? And either like Usman or JDM are first to pull up in a fight for the championship. Who's on a nice little win streak that always takes short notice fights? Kevin Holland. It's the same thing at middleweight. Let's say Kamsa has a middleweight has a middleweight opportunity, and Kevin Holland's on a nice little 3-winning streak. Like, he's gonna face Roman Dolidze next. I believe that's a very winnable fight for Kevin Holland, right? It'll break him into the top 10 at the middleweight division. And let's say he wins another fight from there, right? Moves up to like 7 or 8. That's not out the realm for a title fight, as we see with Stipe, as we see with Chito Vera, as we see with Khalil Roundtree. That's not out of the opportunity for a title fight, especially if you're a fan favorite. And let's say it's Dricus versus Kamja. Who would take a short notice fight? Kevin Holland would. Let me know. Am I cooking? Am I wrong or am I cooking? I believe I'm cooking. Next, he's actually a good fighter if he tries. I know I'm not the only one that has this opinion, but it feels like Kevin Holland just wants to joke around. He's that one classic clown that you actually see talent in. You know what I'm saying? He's the one that gets like B's and C's without even trying, and you're just like, dude, if you actually like learned how to read, you could actually be like fucking go to Harvard or some shit. Right? That's how I feel about Kevin Holland. He's very talented. He's very good on the ground. He's very underrated on the ground. He's very good on the ground. And he's a great striker too. I believe that again, he's good if he actually wants to put his effort into it. I feel like a part of him is just afraid to put his effort in because if that doesn't work, then what else does he need to do? But I believe that he did. He gets on a nice little win streak and takes a short notice fight. He could fight for a championship in the next 3 years. I don't think that's out of the realm of the possibility. Next, he went to a split decision with JDM, who is one fight away from a championship fight, who beat Gilbert Burns, knocked him out. A lot of people would consider him on the same level as a Shavkat, right? He went to a split decision with this guy. It was such a close fight that it went to a split decision. Say what you want, he lost the fight, but that's still good. That's still like he beat the next one of the next challengers for the title, or was close to being one of the next challengers for the title. That shows you that he could be at a similar level. No, scratch that. If he tries, he could reach a similar level. If he actually wants to mix up the ground game, if he actually wants to just stop standing up and striking with the best strikers in the world, right? Actually, like takes things more serious and takes things more logical, right? Say what you want. That's probably the best thing on his resume right now, outside of his decent wins against Joaquin Buckley and Anthony Hernandez. That's good competition. He's beat those guys. He's knocked out Joaquin Buckley, who's gonna be who's like 2 fights away from a title shot because he's a fan favorite. People like or like to hate Joaquin Buckley. Say what you want. He has the X factor. He could be fighting for a title soon too. Well, maybe not soon. That division's super stacked. But and Anthony Hernandez. These are decent wins. These are good wins in his resume. Not only that, but going to split decision with JDM too. Even though it's a loss, that's great competition that he almost beat without really trying. Now imagine if he actually put his effort into it, goes on a nice little streak and takes a short notice fight for a championship. Granted, I believe he will lose. I believe it will be over, but I'll be rooting for him. Texas boys for life. I'm from Texas. But yeah, this is a hot. This whole video is a hot take, but I believe this is this one and the next one are my hottest takes. But I feel like the fact that I laid it out logically, I feel like I reached a couple. Y'all, come on, give me my props. Give me my props. Now, final one. Hey man, now for the final one. Justin Gaethje would beat Islam Makhachev for the lightweight title if they fight. Straight up. Straight up. And you can already see that list. I forgot to fucking fix the list, but you can see it already. Solid wrestling background. He really does have a solid wrestling background, Justin Gaethje. He just never uses it. He really doesn't. And I believe the solid wrestling background. Granted, you can point to fights like against Khabib Nurmagomedov. You can point to fights like Charles Oliveira. But Charles didn't take him down. He knocked Gaethje down and then submitted him. And in an interview, Gaethje said that he underestimated Charles Oliveira, and that I believe he learned from that. I believe he also learned from the Khabib fight, right? Since then, it's very difficult to take Gaethje down. It really is. Unless you're a top tier wrestler, which Islam is. I'm not gonna say he's not. He is a top tier wrestler. He's one of the best wrestlers inside the UFC. But even if Gaethje can hold his own, maybe not hold his own, but I feel like he can stall long enough to where Gaethje would make it a war. Gaethje's known for his wars. We know that. Granted, I'm a little more worried since the Max Holloway knockout, but I believe he's doing the right thing, sitting out for months at a time to make sure that your chin has healed enough to where it's not gone. You know, a bunch of fighters, I believe, make a poor decision. Volk. But, yeah, he's sitting out. Gaethje makes his fights a war. I believe that we won't see prime Gaethje anytime soon, but I feel like we'll see close enough to it to where he'll be able to make fights a war, right? And he's one of the few fighters in the lightweight division. I mean, there's plenty of fighters inside the lightweight division, but he's the hardest hitting lightweight. Many people say he's the hardest hitting lightweight. He has a one-hit knockout power. He's a great striker. And I believe that he would be able to catch Islam Makhachev. We saw what Dustin Poirier was able to do. Dustin Poirier, great hands, powerful hands. And he was able to cut up Islam. He was able to hold his own into the fourth round. It was tied on the judges' scorecard going into the fifth round. I think that's enough time to give Gaethje time to land one solid great hit that would knock Islam down. Not knock him out, knock him down. And then from there, we'll just see what would happen. I believe that this is a closer fight than people believe. If I had to bet on this fight, I would bet Islam to win. But I do really believe outside of Arman, Gaethje has the best shot at beating Islam for the lightweight title. And like I said earlier, he learned his lessons from Khabib and the Oliveira fight. The way he speaks in interviews, the way he talks, he underestimated Oliveira. Khabib, one of the greatest of all time. That was years ago. I believe that he worked on his takedown defense. And Khabib and Islam's wrestling are totally different. Dustin Poirier pointed it out. They're totally different. The way they take people down, the way they maul guys, it's different. But again, I believe Gaethje, his solid wrestling background, would help him go into like the second, third, fourth round, even, where it would be difficult for Islam to take him down. And Islam might just want his, at that point, not saying that he won't take him down. I believe Islam would take Gaethje down a couple of times. But Islam, it seems like he kind of wants to strike. He kind of wants to stand up and strike people. He wants to prove that he's a great striker, which he is. But easiest path to victory, we know that's not it. Especially with Gaethje. But we saw it with Poirier too. Poirier, amazing striker. Islam most of the fight wanted to stand up and strike with him. Right? He shot a couple takedowns. He got a couple takedowns on him too. He got that amazing takedown towards the end of the fifth. I mean, towards the middle of the fifth round that submitted Poirier. But Islam also feels Islam also has that spark to wherever he it seems like he likes to strike. It seems like he's become a favorable striker to where he finds it fun, to where he would want or even think it's a possibility, which it very much is. He could knock out Gaethje. I'm not gonna deny it. We've seen Gaethje's chin been cracked, and that's a little worrisome. But again, Gaethje's known to crack chins too, to where Islam might feel confident enough to stand up and strike, and that's where Gaethje could catch him. Again, this is what I believe. I feel like this one's wow. Barely anyone believes it, but I believe outside of Armin, Gaethje's the one to beat Islam if he gets a title shot. I don't believe he will get that title shot anytime soon. I believe they're gonna book Dan Hooker versus Justin Gaethje, which is sad because I want both these fighters to win. But I believe if Gaethje wins and gets a lightweight title shot, I believe. If I see the betting odds are great, I'm a bet on Gaethje. Not gonna lie. If I see the betting odds are great, Gaethje, take my money. I believe in you. Hey, those were my UFC hot takes. Let me know what you believe. Let me know if I cooked, and let me know what you think about some of these. Did I sway you? Did I sway you to where now you know the script? To where now you believe the script? Hey man, all jokes aside, make sure you follow, make sure you subscribe, press the like button. We're gonna have more videos like this coming out soon. But hey man, that's really all I got for you. See ya.